Equipment doesn't work here. Oh, jeez. No, I'm fine. This is not going to take long either. Oh.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. I made a request. Good morning again. To for you to bring some things that you would need.
Okay.
And Vanessa said that it wouldn't be enough time for the 1 o'clock meeting, and as I expressed to Vanessa that these requests were made the first week that I met Mr. Hinton. I asked him to stop it because I don't know what is charging him. I don't know why this is happening, but I would like clarification, which I got none at all. And so today I only want to discuss 3 little things: defamation of character, slander, and libel. And this has been tough because you've only been here a few years. First time I ever met you, you come out of this room here as I'm going into the city attorney's office to handle my business, where people before you had charged me with things that I couldn't understand why, when all I wanted to do was produce quality programming to help young people in my neighborhood and community that I saw in dire need. Now, I didn't ask the city, the county, white folks on the mountain, or anywhere to assist me. This was a need that I saw from the bottom of my heart, having grown up here, just like I've heard a few times you did too. And in leaving, I returned to find out that my neighborhood and community is in worse shape than any other state in the South, pretty much. So I felt compelled that instead of going around the country talking about all the problems in everyone else's backyard, to be a man and be right way, I had to straighten out the problems in my own city first. Show the example.
I said that.
Be a model.
Yeah.
And then I could take the model from my city back to where I came from or wherever I wanted to go, but there were some problems.
Yeah.
There were some people whom I had no idea were watching me for whatever the reason. And I could not digest that because this was not the norm.
Okay.
I went over to the records department to get records that I was hoping would have been submitted to you. And there was a lady there. Said, Mr. Bell, I heard you on twice last week. She said, I don't care if I was laying out in the street. It didn't matter to me. If a person needed help, I'd help. She said, but what all the women got out of your conversations last week, that you're concerned about all people. She said, there's nobody listening to your program on last week that heard a prejudice bone in your body. In fact, what they wanted to know is why can't more people be like Mr. Bell?
And I might have offered you this, but would you like some water?
Oh, absolutely not. And I think, as I said, it's going to get warmer. Now, one of the first things, and it wasn't the very first, but one of the first things is from you.
Yeah.
And City of Chattanooga, Office of the City Attorney, July 9, 2013, to be picked up by Mr. Bell. Restricted access to city property. Now, you do know the definition of slander, defamation of character, libel. And you know that they're all 3 different, but I'm going to charge everyone that's on these lists with all 3.
Okay.
Meaning the city attorney's office, the city council, and of course your police department. And it's pathetic. I can understand, and this is what I want to go national with all of the people being killed, and we just had Fleischman involved in a situation. The people don't really know the people. These are just random acts of violence. But wait, the reason I say it's not going to take long, because as I told you in the beginning, I just want to get a list of people who think it's their business to cause me harm. Do I think that you all are going to see a day in court? No, and I don't expect it to be there. I don't care. Because all I asked you all to do was stop ruining my life. And for some reason, like hard-headed children, none of the grown folks took my advice. Bob Moon was like you. Let me show you Bob Moon. I don't know if you know this guy, This was a white guy that was a General Sessions judge that was great friends with Ron Littlefield. And I told Bob Moon, you know, Bob, I don't know why being a judge is not enough for you. It's something that itches your behind to where you have to bother me. And it's been happening ever since I've come to town. And I really like you to stop it. You know, after he called me a nigger, he also said that, what power do you have? I said, Moon, you're going to stop. And if you arrest me again, it's going to be your last time. And wait, you know, I meant that. And I begged you as a brother, hey man, stop. I don't care what these white people are telling you. You need to stop this. Because everything that you're doing is going to be rendered as hearsay in a court of law. Now, mind you, I didn't tell you we'd be in court when it would be rendered, as I said, hearsay. Okay? So, now let's get real quick to the point. This is what they were doing to me before you were even spoke of, right? Before they even knew about you. I was having these kinds of things happen to me. This is black on black crime enforced by whites. And as I said to some people on yesterday, we're going to let Wade Hinton know where he fits into this too. See, there's a black guy here that's being taught by two white people how to mistreat his own kind. And he was very happy to do it. That officer that came with my bicycle, I had the suspect on 8th Street. But because he's a part of the crew, he let him walk. It's black on black crime enforced by whites. Because my bike was just about in my hand until a white guy showed up. And now I got two whites in blue, although they don't look the same. They had the same intent. We're going to harm Monty Bell. You all have harmed me long enough. And as I said, there are too many people, man, getting gunned down, just sitting in their cars. And that's not fair because it's people like you, the reason that it's happening. It's really not fair. As I said to your employee, I'm going to send him a video of this sister that got shot in the head for no reason. None at all. You know, this Worley Johnson, he can't speak to me. But to make his first arrest, he's going to let two white boys tell him how to feel all over my body. That's why the term homosexuality is finna stick on y'all. If you notice, it's hard for homosexuals to come public in my state now, particularly in my city. You don't touch all on me. Just like it was none of the former mayor, Littlefield, for him to stand in that window and look out here and see me communicate with two of my sisters and it became his business. I can lower it down. But this has been 4 years of this aggravation with you and your staff. Okay. Now, what we got here, this was where I was headed before you interrupted me. This is where I was, just coming in here getting my information. Okay. $500 million in punitive damage and $400 million in compensatory damages. This is where I was before you interfered with me handling my business. I was quite the professional because I didn't wear suits and things like that. Man, I've got thousands of suits, Wade. You've never seen some of them. Shoes that fill several rooms. That was Monty Bell. You see, this is me. All of this stuff right here, this is Wade, Hinton, Andy Berke, Ron Littlefield, John Fagan, Lerone Jennings. I come here in 1992. I know how to get cases in court, Wade. I did this myself. There's no way that your office, Andy Berke, who's supposed to be a lawyer, or anyone else can tell me that I don't know how to get a case in court. You know what we got now? We've got people, office clerks, family members, and all of this in the courtrooms now. So when Monty Bell brings his court case up in there, it's denied. But then it's put all on the internet as though he don't know what he's talking about. I had Jennings beat and Fritz too. $410 million. Man, this was back in 1994. I beat him, Wade. The only reason I didn't walk out with a statue full of money because I wasn't going to subpoena some kids that didn't have nothing to do with grown folks' silliness to a court case. They were being damaged enough, just like all of the black kids are being damaged now, while they've got a black city attorney at the helm. And it's the same thing that's going over there at the county. Have you ever been to the county jail or Silverdale and see how they treat your people? And I'm going to give them to you because you're the city attorney. When Robert Hill, a white attorney, was teaching me, man, there were no black attorneys anywhere. None. Particularly here. There were none. Whether Ken Fritz likes me or not, he was still the first black city attorney that we had to deal with. And you know what he told me, Monty? You beat us fair and square. But let me tell you this. Man, regardless of what, I always bring you some witnesses. You know what I told him? I said, you know what, Ken? What I'm going to do the next time is make sure that my podium is far away from the competitors, because I don't want you and Mike Mahan or anyone else like you to steal my opening statements before we get started. And then the courts deny me the right to go back and get my presentation. That's why I got access to this office, because they know that they stole from me right in front of the judge. And for what cause? Way to continue having black people poor. You got no other explanation for this. As I said to you, I have a mistake a lot of times looking at black people and just going at that. That's been my biggest problem my whole life. Man, I come off of airplanes and ships and everything else, all these white people. I be some places sometimes where I get tired of just looking at white people because I'm the only one there. I break away sometime, man, to go be around my own kind, just to know what sulfur A smells like. You know, just to hear what good music sounds like. I break away from them. White lady over here in the records department, or just left wrong. Might you know you ain't nothing like all these other blacks. You weren't raised that way, huh? But that doesn't make me look down on them. Love my black people. It's unfortunate they weren't all given the same kinds of skills as Monty Bell. But this is where we are. You know, this with Lerone, the plaintiff Monty Bell, is a citizen and resident of Chattanooga, Hamilton County. His specific address being that address that I don't use and can't use. Monty Bell is the founder of Monty Bell's Public Exposure Company, PubX, being a service-oriented business. I took my business and tried to share it with some brothers. And like he hogs this little program that's going to come on tonight, he tried to hog the radio shows for some young kids, man, that needed help. Okay? And they were at his school. My show was not supposed to go to his school. My alma mater is Brainerd, unfortunately. But what he failed to understand, my first 3 years were at Howard. I learned how to sing and dance and play drums and all that at Howard. That's why I know Jennings was no factor as an athlete, because I'm there. My best friend was the music teacher. And you know, last time I sat behind a set of drums, because I've gone through so much mess, man, I couldn't even play. You don't get behind Whitney Houston and all these kinds of people and your timing's off, because you've been tied up with some mess in your hometown. Do you know what it's like to have to be driven everywhere I go because you refuse to sit down with these folks and tell them to restore my driver's license, brother? Just deny your own kind, man. Due process of law. And I can't fathom this. I can't understand a big dude like Jennings acts so feminine when it comes to keeping his own kind. He, like Fagan, supposed to be a minister. And you know, the only question I got to ministers, how come the God that you say you listen to don't tell you when you're doing wrong? I told you a couple of weeks ago I was going to get Fagan. I told you that. I knew from the very beginning, and so did you, they had no reason to stop me. Like your officers tell me, oh, Monty, we didn't see it. Well, nobody saw anything that went on up there. And if Carl had a problem with me being friends with his wife, you know what? He had a badge and a gun. And not only that, he saw me quite frequently. That's why I kept asking you, tell them to tell you, since they're telling you stuff. Tell him who it is, Wade, and give it to me, and we'll stop it. Because technically, at that time, I had no problem with you until you were just determined you're going to see me to my demise. And that's where I am with you all now. I don't care if none of this ever gets in the court. I have one job, is to prove that they did this. And in this whole thing, one essential element in any defamation action, Wade, is that the defendant published something inflammatory against the plaintiff. When you come out with this, on top of everything else, I tried to meet with you personally to say, hey, Wade, look, man, you're a new attorney. And what they're getting you to do has nothing to do with the law. Now, how come I can do so much to help you and you haven't done one thing to help me? Not one thing since you've been here. The worst thing ever happened was me to lose my mom. And if you think I care about anybody on these lists, that hurt me, bro. To come here and I couldn't do anything for it because the system had me identified as someone that's committed some kind of crime. This is me right here, Wade. 2 little sheets. This is me. I'm going to read to you who I am. This is all you. How can people who have never met me, never sat in a meeting place with me, never seen anything, how do I have a whole briefcase full of trash by people who've never met me? This is Monty Bell. From 1977, I'm seeking employment in the fields of television and radio broadcast and production, with emphasis on teaching technical production skills to at-risk youth. I gotta know something about that to make such a bold statement. So if I've been doing this ever since I was 13, then how, under you and Berke and Littlefield and all that, how do I get this? The area supervisor had to show up because I told this fat boy, if you don't explain to me what you're doing, I'm not going with you. Worley Johnson couldn't do anything. You're putting me in a situation where I've got to prove to you and your officers there's nothing you can do to me. You got to kill me right then and there. When it comes down to physical combat, Wade, ain't nobody going to win. But I don't have to wear my bundle patch on my sleeve with swords on it and all that. I don't do that. I'm a journalist right now. And I want to stay that. Y'all mess with members of my family. Right before this election, everybody that was male in my family got rounded up, taken off to jail. People gonna pay for that. And as I said, when my mom died, that was the end of it. There didn't have to be a city of Chattanooga when that happened. And she made the statement to Erlanger Hospital. When my son find out what you all have done to me, God better have mercy on you, because he's not going to have any. And my mom was right, because I love my mom. Everywhere I went, I tried to send for my mom. When I come down here, my mom and I, we go to sports events. We do all this. We go to comedy catches and all this kind of stuff. We do things together because this is my mom. I want to show her I appreciate everything you did for me. But I got men like you who've done everything outside of just morality and ethics to cause me harm. I wonder what your mom gonna say. Wade, I wonder what your dad's gonna say.
Okay, Mr. Bell.
I wonder what they're gonna say.
Cross the line.
Because
here we go. So let's
no, I can cross the line.
No, here we go. We haven't
crossed the line.
Here we go. So
let's say for the record.
No,
we have not crossed any line.
I want to give you this. This is the DVD of the cameras, and as I have a meeting that starts in a few minutes here.
That's fine.
Here's the DVD of the camera footage from when your bike was stolen outside the city council.
We've already
you
found the people. No, we don't have to recover it. That's not my job. I'm not a police officer.
Got it. So you don't need this.
No, you can leave it.
Okay.
But I don't want you to think that you're giving me something that and look how long it's been. My bike was stolen on the 3rd. We had the suspect on the 4th.
There you
See
go.
what I'm saying? Your officer didn't get this. And with justice, there's no justice with him.
Here's also, you've requested some documents from our office related to personnel files, as well as a resignation or termination letter.
I have that already.
And so I'm going to. Okay. All
I
right.
have that already.
Well, I'm going to give this to you. These are the charges that will be.
Well, we're gonna not even deal with that at all, because what this shows is that you intend to continue to harm Monty Bell, and that's all this is doing.
All right. Well, Mr. Bell, I wanted to listen to what you know. It sounds like you have a charge, and if you feel like you need to follow,
Well, we got several.
That's
and
fine.
what I'm waiting on you to do, it takes your office 60 days to turn it down, and I'm waiting on that because we're already ready.
Okay.
You got 3 charges against you, your office, and the police, as well as the city council.
Okay.
Defamation of character,
All right.
slander,
Okay.
and libel. And this is just for starters.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
This is just for starters.
All right. Thank you.
And we'll see you at city council tomorrow night.
Okay, sure.
And you do know that disclaimer that I put together with Mike Mahan doesn't apply to you.
All right. Thank you, sir.